Hey, and welcome to Cooking on the Fly, the only show that haphazardly caters to the completely ill-prepared cook like us. Today, we will definitely be cooking something. What it is, I'm not entirely sure yet, but I have been known to mix a few different cereals together, put a couple things together, mix and match in the pantry. If you want to follow along with me, you may need a wooden spoon. You know what you else might have? A little spatula, something like that. I don't know, flip, make some pancakes, it could happen. And never underestimate the power of a good muddler. In terms of heat, we might be using a fireplace, we might be using a little stove back here, a Bunsen burner, I might even hold a piece of fish underneath a lighter. You never know. Stay tuned and we'll figure out exactly what we're gonna be cooking today. Now back here, I'm feeling like I might make some steak today. What do you think, dude? You wanna put some steak in the oven here?
Sure, man.
Yeah, perfect. So I know my mom just sent me something. Now the only problem is, they're completely frozen solid. Now if you, like me, have done no prior prep work, you're gonna wanna figure out a way to de-thaw this meat before you can do anything with it. Now, when it comes to de-thawing food, you got three major options. One, you can just throw it in the oven, you can cook it anyway like a complete idiot, and ensure that the whole inside is gonna be frozen solid while the outside is burnt and nice and crispy. Or you can just go ahead and ignore it and not eat anything at all. It's really good for weight loss. The last thing that I recommend is to put it in a nice little thing of water, let it sit for about 15-20 minutes, wait, come back, and boom, you're ready to go. Instant defrost, you're fine, and then you're ready to get cooking. Let's see if we got any of that stuff lying around. I got my water right here. We're gonna throw the steaks in it, let them defrost as quick as we possibly can, come right back. We'll see you in 15. Whoa. We're apparently back on Cooking on the Fly. And look at this. Yeah, everything's all defrosted. Awesome. So, apparently we're gonna cook these steaks. Now, for me, anytime I'm gonna cook, especially red meat, I like to have a beer. If you're not a big drinker, then you can still use the beer as just sort of a marinade. It helps everything stay moist, it adds a little flavor, and the heat is gonna burn off the majority of the alcohol. If you are a big drinker, and I'm not saying I am, then you can use a beer to drink, as a regular person might drink a beer. Let's see if we got anything lying around. Now here's a good beer selection. A nice little summer seasonal, one of my favorites. Just a good variety pack here. Let's open this up and see what's inside. For all you people doing professional cooking shows with sponsorships, whoa, look at you, I'm so fancy, I have a sponsorship. For all you YouTubers out there who are trying to make sure that you're not using other brands and promoting other things illegally, why don't you do what I do? Just shop at the duct tape shop. Everything there is already duct taped, and I'm looking forward to enjoying a nice summer seasonal of duct tape brand beer. Let's have one. Now, they obviously gotta make this stuff child-proof. Kids are getting smarter and smarter these days, opening up more and more difficult beers, tequilas, and very complex boxes. Even me, this is a little tricky for me, using just my regular Homo sapien fingers and hands and opposable thumbs. But, no worries. They say you gotta be smarter than the tools you work with, and this box is no match for the magical intellect of yours truly. Now, here's a nice summer seasonal here. Of course, they got their classic gray, which everybody loves, and won the best beer of 2014 a couple years ago. 2 if we're being technical. Now this, of course, is your standard yellow. It's a little more of a lager ale style. But for me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling the summer seasonal. Now, if you ever went to college, you remember that one kid that was really cool in the frat house who could open a beer with a lighter and how often that got him laid? You can do the same thing here, not the getting laid part, the opening beers I mean. Now, we can use a lighter, sure, but that same method, it's called the pry and pop. We can do that with just about anything. Say for example, a kitchen knife. If you're in the kitchen, you almost always have a knife. Now you should never run with it, but one thing you can do is turn it the other way, get it right under there just like you would with a lighter, seat it just underneath your finger, in between the cap, give it a nice all the way press, pop. Just like that, got a nice beer for yourself. Cheers. Now just as you saw with the knife, you can also open a beer with a wide variety of other objects. For example, another beer, a wooden spoon. Now you saw we could use a knife, but how about an even bigger knife? Oh, Blue is a good year. If you're at the duct tape beer shop and you get a chance to try Blue, it's their seasonal, definitely don't sleep on that. If you already can use a big knife, I recommend you stop being such a Nancy Pansy and really step your game up. With an even bigger knife. If you're taking notes at home, be sure to write this one down. Easy as pie. Now that we've got our beers, let's start cooking. Now, we could always use a meat tenderizer if you're soft, but me, I like to beat my meat the old-fashioned way, with my hands. So, we got a replacement cutting board, small and slightly inferior, and I will do my best not to shatter this one in half with rage, but no promises. Now we're gonna get working on a sauce. Let's see what we got to work with. So we got a couple barbecues, got a couple spiced things, got a couple light things. What I like to do is get a little barbecue and a little mustard, put them together with that beer. We got a perfect marinade going on. I like a little kick in my food. So what I like to do is just slice up a bunch of peppers. Let's cut these up, let's grab a couple seasonings and see what we can put together. Let's check out my pantry. You know what this is? I don't either. This is an off-brand bag of crushed up raw spices. This could be cayenne, it could be ghost pepper, but you know what I really need? Is some Cajun seasoning or some Old Bay. Old Bay and Cajun seasoning go well on everything. Whether you're making fish or chicken and fish, or a margarita, or putting something together like a nice hot chocolate in the morning, bam, throw that Cajun seasoning in there, you're totally fine. Let's see if we have any. What is this, conditioner? Why do we even have that in there? Yeah. Now there's some Cajun seasoning right there. All right, so now we got all our spices ready. Let's put together a rub. First, we're gonna throw some parsley on there. Now it's green, so that technically counts as a vegetable. That's the perfect amount. Perfect, 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 perfect. The very last thing we're gonna do is pop in here and get one more thing to marinate it. If I had some Worcestershire, I don't know, I'm from the East Coast. We say things a little bit differently over here, Worcester sauce, right? So we don't have that. Instead, we have soy sauce, right? That's what we're gonna use right now. Just get that dry, get that wet marinade. Perfect. Lastly, we're just gonna get a big old skillet. because it's gonna keep all that moisture, all that flavor right in it, and it's gonna soak it up, absorb it, and it's one of the quickest ways you can cook something without having to deal with the grill or the downstairs neighbor who's really grouchy and keeps yelling at me about my noise and having the grill going on. Bertha, I can't help it if I need to move IKEA furniture. It's loud, okay? Bertha, I'm sorry, that was a one-time mistake. You don't need to call the cops on me every time my smoke detector goes off. All right, so now that these are marinating, we're gonna put these steaks over here and start slicing these spicy peppers. One of the things they do in Mexico before they slice peppers is they put olive oil on their hands. That ensures that once they wash the peppers, they're so spicy that they want to make sure that the oil doesn't get on their hands and won't get in their eyes. But of course, we're in America, right? We're free enough to make all the bad decisions we want. So if these burn my eyes and, cause me unbelievable harm, that's my right to do that. We're gonna go ahead and slice these up. So we're gonna take this and put it aside. We're gonna come back to it and throw it in the skillet once it gets hot. We're just gonna throw it on there. That's the sound you wanna hear right there. We're gonna take that, throw on our dry ingredients. Then of course, we're gonna use one of our beers, keep it nice and moist. And on the side, we're gonna turn all these vegetables and dry seasonings into a little sauce. One thing that can be problematic when you're using a spatula and a frying pan is if you let everything sit for too long, you're really gonna singe the sides. So what we wanna do is make sure we get a little more sauce and we cover a little more of that space. So this is a honey smokehouse sauce. It's gonna be a barbecue sauce that's a little on the lighter side. It's gonna be rich, it's gonna be full, and it's gonna counter some of the kick of those serrano peppers. Now let's take that sauce, put it right on top of the steaks, and really let that sink in. Let that think about what it's done. Let's take a look at these. One of the things you always want to do before you serve that steak is you want to know what it is. You want to know if it's medium, medium rare, well done, completely incinerated, or absolutely trash. So let's slice one of these open. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see a little money shot of that. All right, so let's throw this on a plate. And here it is. Straight from scratch, sirloin steak, serrano peppers, and whatever that other spice happened to be, on the fly, put together with the sauce. I'm your host, Corey. Thank you so much for joining me in Cooking on the Fly. Catch us next week for another episode where we've done no prior prep work and we'll put together a dish absolutely on the fly for you. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.